Okay, I want to go right to this video that one of the guys that works at the Blaze captured this weekend. This is a PhD student in history at CUNY Graduate Center, but he is from Egypt. Here's what he said at Wall Street.
I am an Arab citizen.
I am an Arab citizen.
I am an Arab citizen. From Egypt.
From Egypt.
From Egypt. I'm coming from there.
I'm coming from there.
I'm coming from there. From the Arab Spring.
From the Arab Spring.
From the Arab Spring.
From the Arab Spring.
From Liberation Square.
From Liberation Square.
From Liberation Square. To Washington Square.
To Washington Square.
All right. Tell me what...
To the wall.
Of Wall Street.
Of Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Okay. Buck Sexton is here. He's our national security correspondent from the Blaze and also former CIA analyst. Buck, you went down into that crowd this weekend.
Yeah, I've been down there a few times.
How's that working out for you? You got sex in a tarp yet?
You've seen a very clear transformation, and there's no doubt that the organization has upped many levels. There are people that are working on this from the outside. There's all kinds of help going on. It's completely changed from day one on September 17th.
It's also help from over in Europe and over in the Middle East. I mean, they're sending food. Are they not?
Yeah, there have been reports that people have been ordering pizzas actually at New York City pizzerias that are sort of within the delivery distance of Zuccotti Park.
Do you know how many times I would have been marching with the Tea Party if we would have gotten free pizzas from all over the world? Okay, so tell me about this guy. Who is this guy who's speaking?
Mohammed from Tahrir Square. He is an Egyptian student. He came to the U.S. He studied at Georgetown for a while, and now he's at CUNY working on a PhD. He is obviously there to make a very sort of explicit correlation between what happened in Egypt and what they're hoping to have happen here. I mean, it was Tahrir Square and Washington Square this weekend.
Okay, so, and this Saturday is a huge global action. How huge?
They're trying to bring in all the players that we've started to see hints of here and there, and others that have already had a pretty profound impact on what's going on.
Okay. The finger thing is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
There's several finger things, actually.
Oh, yeah, I've got a few finger things. Well, I've got two finger things
so we have,
for them. But.
We have finger approval, which means I like. And then we have the sort of the side-to-side, which is I'm not sure. And then we have the down below, which is I don't like.
What you're watching here is somebody on instructing, all videotape. And then here, this is a printout from them, the New York City General Assembly. I mean, this is so well. I'm a guy who has done major events. I can't even imagine the amount of money that is being spent, and I mean, you can't do this without big money.
Right.
Go ahead.
There's already been coordination around the country with this, too. I mean, on day one, again, no fingers, none of this stuff was going on. Even in the second week, none of this stuff was going on. And now we see it in all of the 25 or 26 cities in the U.S. that have this.
Here is my prediction of what's going to happen. Europe is going to crash. You agree Europe's going to crash?
Possibly.
Possibly. Europe's going to crash, and it's going to get really bad over there. And then it's going to migrate over here. Whether this continues on this, I mean, think of this. 3 weeks ago, there was nobody. Now, all of a sudden, all of this. Maybe this slows down over the winter, but I think by by spring, this is full-fledged American spring. Chaos in the streets. The president is encouraging it. All of his people are involved. All the unions are involved. All of them are supporting this nonsense. They want it. They'll bring it. They'll beg, people will beg the president to bring in and crack down. The cops will have to go in and crack down, and it will be a nightmare. Agree or disagree?
Well, I think you certainly will see before then. I think the cops having to crack down, that's probably coming sooner rather than later. That's been a critical part of this entire endeavor for them, is trying to incite a police response, get it on video, and send it all around the world to say that there's been some sort of police brutality.
Was there? Didn't you tell me that there's something from the Arab world that what was this?
Yeah, memory has gathered some postings that show that jihadist-associated forums are encouraging members to send advice as to how to do this. And, you know, they say clog the streets, make life difficult, create problems, and then make sure that you are ready with your camera so that you can capture this moment, you can capture this alleged police brutality, and then send it all over the world and, you know, create an inciting moment.
People will say, well, what does the president hope to gain out of this?
Well, clearly, it's sort of an escape valve for what's going on right now in the country. It distracts attention from the fact that, you know, the White House's agenda is floundering at best in terms of job creation, and it's sort of a way for people that overwhelmingly would have voted for this White House to be very upset but not direct their ire at the current administration.
Do you think these people have any idea that they're being used? I mean, look at the list of people that are involved now, that are supporting this: SEIU, AFL-CIO, TWU, Code Pink, Wade Rathke from Acorn, Bill Ayers, the Communist Socialist Anarchist Movement, Van Jones with the American Dream Movement, Francis Fox Piven, Michael Moore, Susan Sarandon, Danny Glover, Kanye West, Russell Simmons, Joel Rogers with the Working Family Parties, Al Sharpton. I mean, do you think they have a problem being in bed with these people? Do they realize they're being used? They're useful idiots?
I think it's sort of a big tent revolution. I think that there are people that are involved in this that probably think that they are doing something that's for the good. They actually do believe it, but they're not aware of all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. They're sort of, you know, people that show up.
But they
not the unions, though. Not they're aware.
They're aware.
They're aware. Yeah. No, the organized units within this, they're fully aware. They know what the agenda is.
But the average dope on the street doesn't really have any
exactly.
idea.
The guy that shows up there with his banjo is not necessarily part of the conspiracy.
So this ends the same way it always does. The powerful are using the poor and the stupid and the doubly stupid, and it ends how? It ends where?
Well, for one thing, I think right now some of the more organized units aren't as concerned about where it ends because they feel like no matter what happens, if they do put enough pressure on the system, if we do have a cataclysmic event, they're organized, they're there, they're in place. We've already seen this in Egypt. At first, it's just going to be, everything's going to be fine. And now we realize, well, if the Muslim Brotherhood is the best organized political unit there.
So who's the best organized here?
Unions are certainly very well organized, very well funded.
Workers of the world unite. It's not just a slogan anymore.
It's not.
What should the average person do? I've been thinking about telling my daughters, but I'm not insane, that they should go down and see it. They should know who these people are. There are people all over the country. They have no idea. They have no idea. Good idea or bad idea?
I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea to engage and see what's really going on here, because now there are a lot of excuses being made for what's going on down there in terms of the message. It's discombobulated, but it's still good. Well, how is it still good? It's good to get an explanation from the people that are actually involved. Why are you here? And when you listen to their answers, you'll come to your own conclusions. But there's nothing holding all of this together except trying to
money. And do you find it interesting that the last election was fueled by the youth, and it was hope and change? And everybody said, what does that even mean? Name the policy of hope and change. What does that mean? Well, he's going to be more transparent. He's going to fix things. Well, how exactly? Well, he is. Okay, you just hate him. That doesn't work anymore. But now it's hope and change. And last time it was historic. It's historic. There's going to be an African American that's going to be president. This time it's historic. Be a part of this historic movement. They're being duped a second time exactly the same way, aren't they?
Right. I think it's now just change. It's just change. It's just become change.
Yeah.
Because the hope is people have given up on that in some quarters.
Some quarters, not mine. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Stay safe. Back in just a second.